All right, in this video, let's explore some types of mesh that we can make with a bag like this. We already have a nice foundation row, or a nice foundation base established. From here, there are some easy steps that you can take. Pretty much anything involving chain and any combination of double crochets is going to work. This is the one that I'm actually working on right now. So a couple chain one, 2 double crochets, chain two, 2 double crochets, chain two, 2 double crochets. That will give you a little bit of a droop as you're working through it, which when there are forces on it will end up making it stretchy. So you don't have to worry about your groceries not fitting in the bag as you're shopping. You can literally just keep adding to it and keep on going. So for me, let's say for this project, we want to start working straight up and give ourselves a nice base to start making our mesh from. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, well, first off, I'm going to undo what I did previously, which is a basic slip stitch, and I'm going to start working with what I want to work with. So from here, let's go ahead and do chain one and then double crochet. So the nice thing about this is we're not going to increase the width of it at all, which means it will start to move upwards. So start from the very beginning and we'll talk it out. So from whatever end you're at when you want to start your mesh, we'll go ahead and chain one, skip a loop, and then we will double crochet into the next one. For something like this, and we might run into an issue here, you do want to have an odd number so that you end in an odd number. Let's see, an even number so you end up in the correct spot. So if you got 1 0 1 0 1 0, when you circle around, you will end up in the same spot. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So it will continue all the way around and make a mesh pattern. So for this one, you want to have an even number of stitches, because that will get you back to the home point just the same. We might find out that I did this, I didn't plan for this at all, and we'll go from there. Odd numbers are nice when you need an ending point. So if you're working on flat projects, then odd numbers are good. But we'll keep going from here, see what happens. So chain one, skip one, insert in the next one over, chain one, skip one, insert in the next one over, chain one, skip one, and so on and so forth. Now, if you do make any mistakes with how many you have, essentially you're just going to have to, you'll look off pattern. You'll have one spot where things will look a little wonky for a second. Don't stress about it. It can always be put on the side that doesn't go outwards, so other people won't notice it. For some mesh patterns, it actually benefits you because it creates kind of an unevenness as you're working through the other parts of the pattern. So just be aware. There's kind of no wrong answers in crochet, just like there's no wrong answers in painting, but there will be a change in the look is all. So Even here we can already see, since I'm not adding any stitches, I'm starting to already get like a bowl shape, which for this project is ideal. We're essentially starting to make the base part of our bag in one fell swoop, and then from there we'll just keep working upwards and decide how much mesh we want. So for the first row, I like to get that bowl shape established, and then sometimes I'll start going off book from there. But if you keep increasing evenly from the get-go, it's gonna keep ending up laying flat. So for me, I just like to kind of train it into shape sooner rather than later, so I don't have to do that later on. Not strictly necessary always, but it's what works for me, just so I can get past that initial kind of craving to see the finished project, or like the project start to gain traction, I guess. Here we go. And now for the moment of truth, where we find out if I had done good. Right. I basically done good here. So there's a space, and then I start into here. So yarn over, and then we can go into this hole here, and that will kind of keep us on the same track that we want to be on. We'll get there. This yarn's slippery sometimes, and this loop is a little on the tight side. There we go. All right, so we already have the basic shape established, and now we can start deciding what kind of mesh we want to make. So let's say for this one we want to have extra strength, so we would go through and basically do 2 in that chain space, but we still want to have a meshy sort of pattern. We can do just that. So let's start off by doing a couple chains here, skipping our first gap, and then go into the second gap. On something like this, I don't think that will increase the number of stitches that we have. In fact, it might decrease them, but it will start to give you a nice meshy foundation. And with mesh, honestly, the consistency is the key to your project. So just make sure that whatever mesh you can commit to, you're doing it consistently all the way around. For this one, we're going to end up having to vary it by row. So once we get through one row, we're going to have to do the exact opposite in order for it to start to look like a mesh pattern. But that will become clear soon enough. And for this one, I'm not worrying about going into the chain space at all, mostly because it is a pain and I don't like to waste my time with it. When I have done it in the past, the result is perfect, but or helpful. But what I found is I very quickly lose interest in doing it, so I never finish my projects. So if you're committed to it, you can work into the space between the chain instead of underneath like I'm doing. And what that would look like is essentially you would work into this space here so we can see the bottom of the loop, and then we'd have 2 loops on the top as well as this space here. So when you're working in chains, sometimes that can get pretty tight, no matter how well intentioned you are. In fact, that's what throws first time crocheters off when they first get started. It's a little easier when you're working into other stitches because there is a greater space there, but for me, I'm just not even going to try. So we're actually almost to the end of our first loop. For our first row around of the chain. We're just on the outside curve of it, the outside arc. Only you could see the giant ball of yarn that I have underneath because I haven't recaked it in between projects. I just pulled it all out and hoped for the best. But it's all trying to get to me now. In fact, you're about to see it on camera. All right, let's take a second here. If you get a yarn caker, honestly, it's your best friend. All right, so here's where things get weird and we have to make a decision. So because this is going to be somewhat of a checkerboard pattern, we're going to be able to just do 2 stitches here, and we'll end up well, let's work through this. 2 stitches here, we can jump past this one and into this one. Oh, this is going to work out perfect actually. Yeah, okay, this is working out perfect. So there will be a gap here, and then this starts on the next one. So down here, because we did it kind of consistent all the way around, there will be a bit of a jump loop here, but it won't be super obvious unless you stare at it like a stoner having philosophical ideas. If we were to, at this point, work into this cluster here, going straight up, what we would end up with is basically ribbing all the way through with like a mesh gap in between it. Beautiful look, just not what I'm going for here. I'm kind of showing you a mesh bag style. So what we are going to do is just continue working into the blank spaces next to it. So chain 2, and then we'll just keep on going. So if you were an expert planner, which I never am when I'm doing crochet projects, you can plan your first row to accomplish what you wish to accomplish. Most of the time with things like this, I'm just winging it, trying something new, or reverse engineering somebody else's project to match my goals. But obviously when it's my goals, it also means my standards, and my standards are not low, but they're not high. If I make a mistake from my fine art background, I've just kind of learned to roll with it instead of starting over or kind of throwing it away and starting fresh. So it just depends on the type of perfectionist you are. I am by no means a perfectionist. I'm more of a fixer. If I run into an issue, I acknowledge the issue and then work with what I've done. So already we can see we've got a nice height work going for us. That's one of the advantages of using bulky yarn. Your projects work up a lot faster. The downside of using bulky yarn is, I guess, resolution. So there's a type of crochet called, I don't know how to pronounce it because I read it. I never heard it pronounced, but it's either fillet or fillet crochet. I think fillet crochet rhymes too much, so I call it fillet crochet. But essentially what that does is it uses the more or less the pattern that we're using right now in order to create a picture or words. So you would essentially be making a mesh where you don't have things going on, and then you would fill in spaces where you do want them. So theoretically, you could use fillet crochet to make a QR code if you wanted, or make pictures, like I said, write words, anything like that. So it's kind of like the interface between analog and digital in some respects, much in the same way that barcodes or software engineering are the same. You could theoretically encode an entire program into a crochet project, and if you are savvy enough, or if the person who finds it is savvy enough, they could translate that project, your crochet project, into an actual piece of software if you know the right things to do. Would I be insane enough to actually do that? Probably not, unless I was doing a very basic projects. So oh gosh darn, we're basically back where we started. Let's look at what we've got going on, talk about it, go from there. I'm gonna stick this in here so you can get a good idea of what we've got going on. So we have almost a nice checkerboard or basket weave pattern. We can see here this would be the start of our project. So this was point 0, or the first point when we started. That would be the part that, if you're looking hard, would be obvious. But since we're curving around, or like spiraling around, it's not actually going to be obvious in the great scheme of things. And if it is, just challenge anybody to do better than what you've already accomplished. Let's look at the back of it as well. This will be weaved in later for people who are more committed to their projects and not undoing them in the end. But we can see here we have our base going all the way along the bottom. Our first row is right here, and then our second row is right up here. If we were to stretch it, we can see the shape accommodates whatever direction we're pushing it in. And the fact that we did 2 double crochets per spot also gives it extra strength. So it's, in the great scheme of things, way stronger than your average shopping bag, which doesn't take much, I guess. But it is a good reason why it's worth making the effort. Think about something like this. If I'm using essentially a cotton yarn that is the same thickness of a string, I still get for a cone of yarn, which is one of the ways that you can buy it, a $10 investment, I can get 2 bags out of that. Obviously time is part of it, but those bags are going to last you longer than you have interest in them, rather than disintegrating because of circumstances. Like your groceries are never going to fall out of those bags, versus a plastic shopping bag. So for me, it's worth it. If you're using cotton, you are not putting microplastics out into the world. This yarn has wool and acrylic, so this is essentially throwing microplastics out into the universe, but it just depends on how you feel about all of that. You can invest in wool, but when you're doing that, everything goes up. So anyway, that's a ramble. That's too much information. This is a basic mesh, almost a checkerboard mesh, I guess, for this. And see me in the next video for more. Bye.